Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because what you're about to see will shock you. Yes, he confessed. But before we go any further, I need you to hear this. Back in 2005, another young woman vanished under strikingly similar circumstances. Her name was Natalee Holloway. And when you see how her story lines up with Sudiksha Konanki's, you'll be so shocked. You'll think you're watching the same nightmare play out twice, because the parallels between these two cases, they're not just similar. They're almost identical. It's like a tragic script the world has already seen, but no one ever learned from. Same setting, a beautiful beach in a foreign paradise. The kind of place people go to escape, to feel safe, to celebrate life. But for both Natalee and Sudiksha, that paradise turned into a graveyard of unanswered questions. Same eerie silence. Where there should have been voices shouting, searching, crying out for help, there was nothing. Just ocean waves, and a girl who never came back. Same vanishing point. Same final walk into the night with a man they barely knew. So please, before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're committed to bringing you content that's real, raw, and rooted in truth. We don't chase trends. We follow the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. And we tell the stories that others won't. So buckle up, because the deeper we go, the darker it gets. And what you're about to witness will leave you speechless. Two daughters, two futures stolen, Natalee Holloway, Sudiksha Konanki, different lands, same heartbreak. One vanished in paradise, one died on the road. Both left questions that scream louder than answers. This is not just about justice. This is about who they were and why we cannot forget. Natalee Ann Holloway was born in 1986 in Clinton, Mississippi. Top of her class, full of dreams, loved by everyone who knew her. She was headed to the University of Alabama on a full scholarship. In May 2005, she took a senior graduation trip to Aruba with her classmates. May 30th, 2005, last night of the trip, Natalee goes out to a club called Carlos and Charlie's. She never returns. Witnesses say she left with a local Dutch student, Joran van der Sloot. She was never seen again. The world watched as Aruba became a crime scene. Joran is arrested, then released, then arrested again. His story changes constantly. The world watched as Aruba became a crime scene. Joran is arrested, then released, then arrested again. His story changes constantly. I left her on the beach. She had a seizure. My friend helped hide the body. None of it added up. No body, no closure. Natalee's mother, Beth, became a symbol of relentless hope and pain. She searched every inch of the island, pleaded with governments, fought the silence. Years passed. Joran moved on. Then, another tragedy. In 2010, Joran murdered another young woman, Stephanie Flores, in Peru. In 2023, he's extradited to the U.S. for extortion. There, under oath, he finally confesses, "She refused me. I got angry. I hit her with a cinder block. I pushed her into the sea. No remorse, no body, just silence." But what if I told you this has happened before, and it happened again? The difference? One girl disappeared in Aruba. Natalee's case was filled with lies, denial, and global attention, while Sudiksha's slipped into silence, with the last person to see her saying nothing, doing nothing, and the world barely noticing she was gone. Joran van der Sloot, the charming Dutch student who knew all the answers, until the silence said more than he ever did. He changed his story, again and again, until justice chased him across continents. Today he sits in a Peruvian prison, a confessed killer, a name etched in cold memory. Joshua Riibe, the college senior from Iowa. He says they went into the ocean. A wave came, they swam back, but only he returned. No charges, No answers, just questions and echoes in the water. They both said they wanted to help. They both stayed until they were free to leave. They both knew what happened last. We are not here to accuse, we are here to ask. Why do these stories feel the same? Why do the patterns repeat? Sudiksha Konanki was 20 years old, a pre-med student at the University of Pittsburgh. Ambitious, brilliant, loved by everyone who knew her. Her smile was electric, her heart gold. She wasn't just going to succeed, she was going to heal the world. Spring break was supposed to be a pause, a moment to breathe. She flew to Punta Cana with 5 friends, a trip to remember. But what happened next? No one could forget. March 6th. Around 4:15 a.m., Sudiksha and a 22-year-old man named Joshua Riibe decided to walk to the beach. They had been talking, maybe even flirting. They seemed comfortable. CCTV footage shows them heading out together. That was the last time Sudiksha Konanki was ever seen alive. Joshua told police a wave hit them, hard. He said he pulled Sudiksha from the water and helped her to shallow ground. He claims he got sick, coughing up water, and momentarily lost sight of her. Then, he just walked away, back to his hotel, alone, leaving her on the beach. But here's where it gets disturbing. Joshua never called for help. He never reported her missing. He didn't tell hotel staff. He didn't knock on the door of her friends. He didn't even ask if anyone had seen her. Hours passed. Sudiksha's friends woke up. She wasn't in the room. They asked around. No one knew. Then they asked Joshua, and that's when he finally said, "She was with me on the beach." But it was already too late. Her belongings were still on the sand, untouched. Her clothes, her phone, her sandals. But no Sudiksha. Authorities searched land and sea. Drones scanned the coastline. Divers combed the depths. Even the FBI and Interpol joined the case. But days went by, and nothing was found. Why didn't Joshua raise the alarm? Why did he act like nothing happened? Why didn't he tell the truth immediately? He told police he assumed she was safe. But how do you assume someone is safe when the ocean just tried to kill you both? Why didn't he stay? Why didn't he scream her name? Why didn't he search? We're not here to point fingers. We're here to ask questions that still don't have answers. Sudiksha's parents flew to the Dominican Republic. Her father stared out at the sea, begging for a miracle. They held hands. They prayed. They stood on the same sand where their daughter vanished. And still, no answers came. Eventually, they wrote a heartbreaking letter to authorities. They asked for something no parent should ever ask for, to declare their daughter dead, because living without closure is another kind of death. After being detained for weeks, Joshua Riibe was allowed to return home to Iowa. No charges were filed. The investigation remains open. But so does the wound. His silence in those crucial hours will always echo louder than any explanation. Sudiksha was more than a tourist, more than a headline. She was a daughter, a student, a future doctor. She had dreams. She had family. She had a life, and it was stolen by silence. Sudiksha Konanki was on spring break in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, with college friends. Natalee Holloway was on her senior class trip in Aruba with high school classmates. Both were young, vibrant, and celebrating milestone moments of their lives. Sudiksha was last seen walking on the beach with Joshua Riibe at 4:15 a.m. Natalee was last seen leaving a nightclub with Joran Sloot around 1:30 a.m. Both men were among the last to see the victims alive, and their accounts raised serious questions. Joshua did not report Sudiksha missing, failed to notify authorities, and even returned to his hotel room and went to sleep. Joran initially denied involvement and gave conflicting stories about what happened to Natalee. This lack of urgency or responsibility fueled suspicion and heartbreak. Sudiksha's case involved the FBI, Interpol, and Dominican police. Natalee's disappearance prompted FBI involvement and international media coverage, pressuring Aruban authorities. Both cases quickly became global efforts to find a missing American student. Despite drones, divers, dogs, and countless resources, Sudiksha's body was never found. Natalee's remains were also never recovered, despite exhaustive search efforts for months. The absence of a body in both cases left families trapped in limbo, grieving without closure. Sudiksha's parents flew to the Dominican Republic, begged for answers, and eventually asked she be declared legally dead. Natalee's mother, Beth Holloway, stayed in Aruba for months, appearing on global media outlets to find her daughter. The pain of these families became visible to the world, but justice remained distant. While Sudiksha's case is still growing in awareness, it's drawing increasing comparisons to Natalee Holloway's for its eerie details. Natalee's case became one of the most covered disappearances of the 21st century, leading to TV specials and even movies. Both stories touch a nerve in the public consciousness, because they could happen to anyone's daughter, sister, or friend. Two lives, two destinations, one tragic pattern. Both were young, both were full of ambition, both were in places considered safe, and both vanished with barely a trace. If you were her father, would you sleep? If you were her mother, would you ever stop searching? If they were your sisters, would you still be silent? Natalee Holloway, Sudiksha Konanki. They are not just stories, they are warnings, they are mirrors, reflections of how we treat women, how we respond to crisis, and how we fail to protect the ones who trust the world around them. When you travel, especially as a student, especially abroad, be vigilant. Travel in groups. Never leave anyone behind. Make a head count your habit. Don't drink if you don't feel safe. And if you do, never leave your drink unattended. If you step away, get a new one. Avoid accepting drinks from strangers. Don't take risks with your surroundings. Know the location of the nearest embassy, police station, or hospital. Keep emergency contacts memorized, not just saved in your phone. Limit alcohol, avoid drugs. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it usually is. Stay alert in taxis, ride shares, or public transport. Avoid walking alone at night. Watch for anyone following you. And if you're out with friends, watch each other. Be your friend's keeper, because sometimes the smallest hesitation or one missed goodbye becomes a tragedy. Teach your children that travel is beautiful, but safety is power. Let this video not just remember the past, but protect the future. Justice for Natalee. Justice for Sudiksha. Protect our daughters. Where is Sudiksha Konanki? What do you think it happened that night? Drop your theories, thoughts, and questions on the comments below. Your opinion matters, and if you want to stay updated on this case and other breaking stories, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Together, let's uncover the truth.